Okay, we're alive. We are getting ready to get going. My name is Jamie J. We will be right with you, and I'm going to be introducing you to Angus Nelson. Can't wait to have a conversation with him. The guy's amazing. Former model, just a super smart guy. You know, he's a lot of fun, and he's an incredible person. So stay tuned. You're going to enjoy this conversation. I guarantee you'll get a couple laughs out of this. So we will be back in about 38 seconds. Well, hello there. It is Jamie J. I'm the CEO and founder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance. This is Live with Bottleneck, and we are here to help stop the bottleneck in your business. We're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about the one and only Angus Nelson. He's a founder of EvolveMen Coaching. It shouldn't be this hard. How to cut the anchors that sabotage progress. One of the things I really enjoy about Angus is he's got these humorous quirks and sayings for a lot of things that are super, super impactful. So we'll explore some of that today. And why can Angus help you stop the bottleneck in your business? Well, let me tell you. Angus is the founder of EvolveMen Performance Coaching. He's advised high-achieving men using his conscious design lifestyle to create dramatic and transformational results. He's worked with executives of Fortune 500 companies and founders of seven-figure businesses. Angus has been featured in a variety of media, hosted the podcast Up in Your Business, and has spoken to brands like Walmart, Whole Foods, BMW, Coca-Cola, and Adobe. Most days you'll find Angus in Nashville, Tennessee, where he's head over heels in love with Samantha, their three children, and their 95-pound labradoodle named Nash. I love it. He's an avid coffee drinker, aficionado of all things human behavior, a Green Bay Packers loyalist. He'd love my brother and sister-in-law, and nachos fanatic. So without any further ado, please allow me to introduce you to the one and only Angus Nelson. How are you, sir?
The crowd goes wild.
What? I can't hear you.
I'm doing great, man. It is so great to be here. I'm really excited to come and hang out with you. I always love your energy and your spirit. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having a great time today.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't joking around. We had a conversation not too long ago, and it was really cool to be able to hook up with you because it had been a while since we had gotten back together. But I still remember some of those quirky little sayings. I just love talking with you, and I think that's probably why so many men are attracted to this Evolve Men thing, because you take a lot. You're able to explain painful situations, perhaps, or maybe where the barriers are really high. You're able to kind of humor that away a little bit to make it a little bit easier to get away from things. And it's just, I think that's one of your best traits, is the way that you have those interrelationship personal skills.
It's a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
There we go.
It's like one of those things where here's the thing, like I go deep really fast. I went through a lot of crap in my former, iterations of life. And this is why the Evolve Men, thing is because we are constantly evolving if we choose to, or we can just stay stagnant. We can just stay right where we're at. But for me, it was a matter of like going through disappointment in a business that I started. And I'll give you just real quick, like my first business, I found myself under a lot of pressure, trying to prove to a lot of people a lot of things. And part of that meant that I took the brunt of all of the pressure of this business on my shoulders. I didn't ask for help. I didn't want to be, someone who looked weak. I had to do it on my own. And as such, in the pain, while I'm trying to prove to my wife, trying to prove to my family, trying to prove to the community and the board and my other employees, like, we're going to do this. I can turn this around. I found myself addicted into porn and then alcohol, and then I'm sleeping around. And in short order, I lost that business. I lost my marriage, and I lost my self-worth. And it was like in that season, like I went through so much pain. So now I want to keep as many people from experiencing pain in their lives as I can. So the best way to do that is to be truly honest, vulnerable, and pack a little humor in it so that it makes it a little bit easier to digest.
It takes some serious cojones
Mm.
to meet yourself in that dark alley and kind of say, hey, man. And that's the few people that, at least for me, that I look up to are the people that are brave enough to admit not only when they're wrong, but to share the things that their darkest moments, their times that affect the way they go about life. Because if you have these things that are encumbering you, or preventing you is probably a better word, from doing, because it's always sitting in the back, right? It's always sitting back there like, oh man, I did it again. I did it again, doggone it. Or just things preventing you. You do an incredible job. You've done it. You've done it. How good do you feel?
Well, it's funny. I can't say I feel good. Like nobody wants to go through this kind of junk and feel good about it. It's more like I feel liberated.
Okay.
I feel freedom because that does not dictate my future. And this is what we don't understand. We believe oftentimes in one of two directions. Either we're in the past or we're in the future. And in the past, it's like, is something really awesome happen in life? And we're like, man, if I could just get back to that again. Remember Napoleon Dynamite, Uncle Rico? And he wanted to throw that football, and at the state tournament. It's like, oh, if coach had just put me in. Like he, in his mind, had like anchored a place in his life in the past and said, man, if only. And then there's the other guy who has something bad happen in their lives, like myself, where it's tragic, it's trauma, it's pain. And we could look back at that and we could choose to say that disqualifies me from anything else in my future. Look, you don't understand what I've done. You don't understand the kind of person I am. You don't know what my propensities can be. And now we won't move forward into any kind of place of power or awesomeness because we carry that weight. So people are in one of those two camps, and either way disqualifying themselves. On the other camp, people are looking in the future like, when this happens, then I'll be happy. Then it'll be awesome. Like when I get that job, when I get that spouse, when I get those kids, when I get that puppy. Trust me, when you get a puppy, it's crazy house, right? We have one. You mentioned the 95-pound labradoodle. Now we have a golden doodle to go along. The two of them are like Mutt and Jeff right now.
Oh, so wait, how old are they? One is a puppy, one is
so Nash is he 5 or 6? And then the puppy is like 16 weeks.
Like a puppy.
Yeah. So I'll finish this quick. The looking at the future, it's like a hamster wheel. And so people are constantly looking for this, then that, because once you get one thing and you think, oh, I've arrived. Nope. You've got to come up with something else. And you can never fuel yourself because you're constantly just getting to one thing and then being let down because you have to go find something else versus learning how to live in the present. And that's really and truly where I found the most power. Someone once told me the acronym for today is the only day actually yours.
Powerful. So that brings up another thing. Okay.
Did we go deep fast enough for you? Was that too fast?
No. Go deep. So here's my problem.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's a problem. Here's my belief.
Okay.
I'm all about completing objectives or establishing objectives that I complete in a daily manner.
Yeah.
I do not believe in goals. I don't believe in them. I've set myself up for failure so many times because I've set a goal and I've achieved that goal.
Yeah.
But then what happens? I've got no plan. And it's really hard to, do that. So I've set up daily objectives to keep going towards my vision. And I don't think my vision has changed 4 times over the past 5 years. Yeah. Not much, but a little tweaks here and there. Yeah. But that's my belief. Yeah. I wonder if you might be able to break that down a little bit as far as, goals and what you think of them. And I'm sure a lot of men come to you and say, hey man, this is what I want to be able to do. I'm having a really hard time with it.
Yeah. I had a client who he took the same course every year. He'd go to this guy's conference, Michael Hyatt, Best Year Ever, I think is the name of his book. And he would sit down, go through the workbook at this conference, and that would be his time set aside to plan the next year, and he'd do all these goals. So he starts working with me, and last year we sat down, and he's like, so I want to tell you my goals. I'm like, okay, cool, fine, tell me your goals. And by the way, I totally agree with you, and we'll jump into that. And so he reached the goals, and some of the things are, I want to spend time with my kids. I want to have more time with my wife and some date nights. I want to take care of my health and eat better. Health mean exercise and eat better. So great, awesome. What were your goals the year before that? And he's like, I actually have the workbook. And he dives into his desk, he opens up his thing, and he pulls out 4 more of these workbooks. And he says, I know the last 4 years. I'm like, well, let's open them up. And so all of them said, more time with my kids, more time with my wife, eating better, getting exercise. I was like, so let me give you a proposition. What if instead of making these goals, what if we just created a lifestyle around this? It's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, what if you actually commit like 1 day a week is a game night with the family and the kids? One night is a couch talk with your wife. 1 weekend out of the month, you all go out for dinner and have a good time. Like if you create like little routines, you naturally and effortlessly create the goals. And the best part is you'll usually do it effortlessly and you'll supersede those goals. So in the same way that we set goals, how do we not know that we're actually limiting ourselves because we're only trying to get to this thing? And so some people will start off strong in the first 2 weeks. They're like, go, 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 go. And they'll burn out and slow down, but they may cross the finish line just achieving the goal. Others will procrastinate. And then those last 2 weeks, they're like, go, go, go. And then at the end of that quarter, the end of that month, bam, I hit my goal. I'm amazing. I'm like, really? What were you doing all that other time? You could have maybe crushed that goal versus these daily routines that on a daily basis, I'm becoming the man I need to be in order to achieve the things I want to do. And again, it's effortless, it's organic, and it's a natural byproduct of your lifestyle.
The whole not tried, do scenario.
Yeah.
Yoda.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing because you're right. And the other thing is, how many people have already fallen off the wagon for their New Year's resolution?
Yeah. What are we at? January 14th? Hello. Right? It's crazy. And it's like, and why do we always choose January 1st? Yes, it's a new year, so it's a new me, And I'll admit, I love it as a coach because I get a lot of clients about this time of year. Fantastic, awesome. But you know what my goal is? My goal is 6 months from now, you're continuing a momentum of transformation.
Yep.
Like when my clients, like I was talking with one of them this week, and he was going through some of the old notes from when we first started working together in December of last year. He's like, I don't even know that dude. He's like, I'm making more money today than I've ever made in my life. He's like, I'm spending the time with my wife and my future in ways I never was before. I almost feel guilty that I'm lazy. I'm not working nearly as hard. And like, these are the things that once people start making these discoveries, they realize there's a completely different way to live your life. But nobody really teaches it. Nobody shows you a different path. We just, especially as men, this is my space, so sorry for ladies, but it's true for some ladies too. All we know is all we know.
Mm-hmm.
And if we've never stepped out of that box where it sometimes feels scary, sometimes feels like it's awkward, sometimes we feel like we're not going to be good enough, like, yet that's where the promise is. It's like if we can find that other way, that thing that at first seems very scary. It was Joseph Campbell that said, in the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure that you seek. Right? And so that thing that you're coming up against that's freaking you out might actually be your invitation.
I agree with that. I don't know, remember who said this, but it was, I'm paraphrasing big
Yeah.
time here because I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something to the effect, if I'm not uncomfortable, I'm not growing.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And it's so true.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so true.
Yeah.
The second I start getting comfortable, the second I start laying off that gas pedal or whatever, is the second technology starts increasing, technology is whizzing by me, people are learning more, new things are happening. And if I'm not staying in control of my uncomfortability, then I'm having I'm having a tough time with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Because we on some level we say, oh, we're stuck in our ways, right? Like, it's just the way I am. This is what I know, whatever. Um, there's another piece that we as a species have always known things to be a certain way because our history is you could easily be either ostracized or kicked out or even put to death in our tribe if we went against the normal ways of doing things. We watch some of these movies or whatever, and some, like, what was the one we just saw? Watched again for like the 67th time. The one in the islands, and they have Maui, it was the rock, Moana. And so
Oh,
Moana is like a rule breaker. She's like the king's daughter. Why is it always the king's daughter is always the rebel, right? And yet it's showing a very human quotient, is like there's something inside of us. Our intuition is calling us to a different way. And we see it in story. We see it in these cartoons, and we're like, oh, that's such a sweet story. But in real life, we're like freaked out. And yet we're exactly the same way. Our intuition is calling us, our spirit, our soul, or something is saying, you've got a different purpose than what you know. And if you're willing to step out on it, how do you not know that you're going to find alignment like you've never known possible?
it's
Just because you went to school for that thing doesn't mean that's your thing. You know
uh,
what I mean?
yes, I can. So I was trying to go. I was trying to search. I really wanted to. Earlier, I found it and I closed my notebook up. So I have our notes from our
Yeah.
discussion we had.
Yeah.
I think in November, maybe it
Yeah.
was.
Mhm.
And I've actually gone back to that several times because there were some pretty things that I had to deal with. And you
Mhm.
nailed it just in a little 15 or 20-minute discussion. It
Yeah.
just made it so clear. Some of Many of us are having challenges. When I say us, I'm referring to men. That's your specialty, and we are men. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I I am a constant pupil of the woman,
Yeah.
trying to learn how to be more worthy and a better human being. And I'm wondering if there's maybe one or two things that you might be able to share with. Not
Mhm.
saying I love my wife, she loves me, we're having a great time, but
Yeah.
how do I continue to, like, just thrive and just besides doing these, the date nights and things like that, which we do,
Yep.
we ride our motorcycles together, we go fishing together, we travel together, we boat together, we do a lot of fun stuff, and I don't want that light to flicker out ever,
Mhm.
and it's not even anywhere in sight,
Mhm.
but what are some of the things that we might be able to do as men to keep that flame just roaring?
So, first of all, you just named a bunch of stuff I would suggest is, find commonality, things you can do together. And here's the thing, like, and this is the title of our talk, it doesn't have to be that hard. We always think that whatever we have to do is going to be hard. Have you ever noticed that? We're like,
Mhm.
oh, I've got to do this. This be hard. It's like, does it? Does it have to be hard, or do I make it hard because of other things? Sometimes I bring to the table of a conversation my opinion, my own persnickety ways where I'm a little anal retentive, but I'm afraid to admit it. Um, I love to say that when we come into a relationship, oftentimes we bring an ugly Joe: judgment, offense, and expectation.
Mm.
We have certain judgments of how we think they're doing things, and we're like, oh, if I were to do that, I would think dot dot dot, and we project onto them something that isn't altogether true. It's something we made up. It's our own freaking story that we are projecting on them.
It may not have even been on the table.
Not even on the table, but you said it in such a tone. And now I know that you were like, no, that's not what I meant at all. Because we all have different personalities, different backgrounds. And so our deliveries may look the same, but mean something completely different. And so we don't actually have conversations around that. So that's the first invitation is you've got to have, we always say communication. Well, communication, of course we got. No, it's about communication over the right things. Like when you feel that compulsion of like, when you did this, it made me feel ... Is that what you were trying to do? And now all of a sudden you've opened up another, opportunity for discovery and intimacy in your relationship.
A non-threatening dialogue.
Non-threatening dialogue. Number two is, this offense. We don't realize, especially in this day and age, like we are easily offended. Like I don't know if you noticed, but people get really offended about really little things right now. And everybody's on edge. So now, like today, my wife, she's, bless her heart, she's homeschooling on a day when the kids stayed up late listening to their audiobooks and now they're crotchety. And she's got to deal with this puppy I just told you about that's chewing on everything. And he goes through like different hours of the day. He like loses his mind and turns into like Chomp Monster, and he's chewing and ripping everything. And we've got the 95-pound dog who like, oh, where am I in the mix? Have you forgotten about me? And so he's jealous and then I'm like trying to race off and do my work. So she thinks I'm ignoring. And so at lunch, I went and said to her something and she shot her and gave me this glare. And I'm like, now is certainly not the right time. Where in the past, I could have gotten offended. I'm like, okay, just because you're mad at them doesn't mean you have to be mad at me. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would have been the worst thing to say. Or I might have said like, calm down. Like nothing infuriates my wife more than the words calm down. Right.
Oh yeah.
So this is where I don't want to offend her, and I'm not going to be offended. I see you're carrying a lot of weight right now. My bad. And then the last piece here is, this ugly Joe I talked about is, expectation. In our relationships, it's like, well, my mom did it this way and my dad did it this way and they were always married and we're on our second marriage here. So we've got to change some things. Like we have these weird expectations of the other person. And here's the part we don't tell them. Like we have this unspoken, unwritten expectation of how they're supposed to be, do, or act. I think a healthy relationship requires 2 sexual encounters a week. Oh, really? Is that what it's supposed to be? Oh, I should never have to ask. You should offer. Really? Is that the way it's supposed to be? The man does the checkbooks and manages all the money. He's the one who brings home the bacon. Like he's the money winner. The mom is supposed to stay home and take care of the kids. Like, is that really in 2021? Is that really the rule still? Like those expectations. And I know I'm being very gentle in some of those expectations, but we have little ones too. Like
when the little ones fester.
Those are the worst, right? You saw that trash can was full. You walked
just
by
walked
that,
by it?
and you didn't do anything. You just who do you think you are? And it's like, I honestly, I was looking at my phone. I was thinking about that conversation. I'm sorry. I'm my bad. Let's create a new rule here. Okay. From now on, ...
Well, I learned not to leave the last pan in the dishwasher anymore because my wife's very particular about cleaning the pans. There's a special way you have to clean them.
Yeah.
And then they go in certain areas. And I seem to always misplace that and I don't clean them correctly. So what did I do? I assumed I was helping her simply by doing the dishes, except for that pan that I just left in the sink. That was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
So I learned.
Yep.
And have modified my behavior.
And then I'll just echo what you were saying, like the commonalities. Like I think what makes a relationship work the best is the camaraderie, is the chemistry. And we're so busy in our lives and we're dealing with so many outside forces, from the politics to the racial divide to, being on lockdown. Like we have to be able to give each other grace and then learn to like love each other the way we did when we first dated. Like, what are the things we did? Can we just play cards?
Yep.
Remember when we just played a game? You know, we've been doing that a lot here. We've especially Monopoly Deal. I don't know if you ever played this game.
Mm-mm.
It's a card game based on Monopoly. So the game's much faster. And it can turn on a dime. Like when you think somebody's losing, all of a sudden, bam, 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 and suddenly they can win. But we've been playing games like that and Uno, and we have this new one, Ticket to Ride, which is a fun game.
Oh,
We've been playing lots of games, just enjoying each other. And my wife loves it because I'm present.
yep.
And again, this is a men thing. And it helps me just forget about work and play, and like those are things I think that help a couple, especially in light of everything that's going on right now, is to really get back down to the basics.
Today, right?
Yeah, today. And
Today,
make time.
I love
Like we've done some double date nights on Zoom where we
Oh,
made
cool.
dinners and had a couple on the other end, and we engaged with each other. Um, and this reminds me, I was talking about doing a date night. I'll call myself out. Like I need to plan a date night, and that may not even mean we leave the house. I was thinking about this, and I may just have the kids like cook the dinner and act like the servers and put a little towel over their arm, and let's do something that's fun and reconnect.
Again, that's simple, right?
Yeah,
But
doesn't
it
have to be.
means so much.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. Well, I want to respect your time. We're at the top of
Yeah.
the half hour. And I wonder if you could tell us, how can men get a hold of you
Yeah.
to learn more about you and how you might be able to help them out?
Oh, well, first, thank you so much for the time and the kind words. And I've realized recently, that what you stated, like my nature or the way I carry myself, is really a gift, and it makes other dudes feel safe. And so I count it as an honor, a privilege to serve men in the capacity of coaching them in through some of the things that are challenging them in their mindsets and in their businesses, to help them have a life that's way easier. If you want to get a hold of me, angusnelson.com is to learn more about me. If you want to reach out to me on Instagram, in direct messages on Messenger, I'm happy to make time and spend 45 minutes or more, just to strategize your life. And it's totally complimentary. It's my opportunity just to serve you. If that's something that would be of interest to you, feel free to reach out. My life is to serve, and I couldn't have imagined that 15 years ago I would be in a place now where my life would be so fruitful.
Well, I'm blessed and honored to have gotten to know you over the past couple of years, and it's you're an amazing human being, and thank you so much for giving back, because um, many of us need this.
Yeah.
And I think what makes it even more powerful is people can come into a relationship with you at Evolve Men and know that, hey, you've been in the, for lack of a better term, shit.
Yeah.
You've been
Yeah.
there. And I think that says a lot, that you've been there. And I like what you said before. Does it make you feel good? Not necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but it's freedom.
Yeah.
And I think a derivative of freedom is a feeling of goodness.
Yeah.
So I just absolutely love the fact that you have been able to overcome that and be someone that they can share with you. So yeah, means a lot to me. And thank you so much for taking the time. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap?
Well, I will say one thing. So I have a thing I want to give you for free. If you're at a place where your mind is playing tricks on you and not cooperating, I have a thing called the 10-minute motivator, and it's all about replacing some of the thoughts and stories in your mind with stuff of positivity. And it's the number 10, like 10minutemotivator.com. It's totally free. You can sign up there and it'll give you a Google Doc. And I recommend everybody just do it all in one whack. It's set up to give you different parts of this workbook over 5 days. But after the first one is completed, you'll get a PDF of that first page. And then it'll give you links for all the other ones. Just go and bang it all out while you're at it. And then I actually instruct with you how to actually use this tool on a daily basis, to right before you're going into a meeting, right before you're going into your day at work, right before you're doing anything important. It helps you elevate your personal identity to see yourself in a higher plane. because your brain is this complete solution monger. It loves to find solution. That's its tool. And so it always wants equilibrium to validate how it feels about itself. So when you elevate yourself and attach emotion to this expectation of who you are, your brain will go to create uh, engagements and opportunities and conversations on much higher levels than you ever experienced before. And that will propel you into having a completely different experience. And as you grow, you just keep tweaking this tool and elevate, 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 or this other word called evolve, i.e., that's how we evolve.
Absolutely love it. I wish I would have done that. I could have elevated my game here to even have a better conversation. Although I thought it was fantastic conversation. So
That's
thank you
great.
for sharing that. That's the 10minutemotivator.com, the
Yep.
number 10.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Angus, for hanging out today and for sharing your wisdom to help men evolve.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks, Jamie. You're awesome. You're such a servant. And I love how you not only serve people just in your personality, but also your business. That's what you do. You're helping make lives better and easier for business owners around the world.
Well, thank you so much. Do you have 30 seconds where you can hold on? I'll just wrap
Yeah,
up real quick.
sure. Go for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jamie J, and I've been speaking with Angus Nelson. Go check out angusnelson.com to learn more about him. If you're a man looking to evolve, even if you're not looking to evolve, you don't think so, definitely go check out the 10minutemotivator.com. I'm going to go check it out as soon as I get out of here, because anything that Angus touches, I cannot recommend enough. He is an amazing person. He listens like nobody's business, and he has a very, very unique skill set to listen, not hear, but listen, take that in, and give you the feel that you need. And I'm not just saying this. I know a lot of people in this area, and Angus is amazing, simply amazing. So definitely reach out to him. You can also check him out on Instagram at Angus Nelson. And he takes amazing photographs. I don't know if he's a professional photographer or something, but he and his wife will be laughing. It looks like it's right out of an ad in a magazine or something. It's just amazing. So go check him out on Instagram. Other than that, coming up next, we'll be talking with Simona Spilak. We're going to be talking about the 3 steps to create a career of your dreams. That's coming up Thursday, January 19th, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be a great conversation. Today, I've been talking with Angus Nelson, the founder of EvolveMen Coaching, and we talked about it shouldn't be this hard, how to cut the anchors that sabotage progress. So thank you again for tuning in. My name is Jamie J. Remember, create your own ripple. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you soon.